There we go. All right, now I'm not muted anymore. Let me just make sure I got the right audio going here. Oh, we do. We're good to go. All right, sick. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to a little agency therapy. Stoked to jump in today. We got a little Q&A session that we're going to be doing today. We got some questions coming in from the Instagram. And then, of course, if you guys have any questions, we can roll through them. But basically what I want to do today, let me exit out of like the 30 tabs that I have on right now. That way we can go deep. I can share my screen and we can hop into some Q&A. And I'll probably do some visuals along with it today on all the questions that you guys have. Da, 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 da. All right, there we go. Closed out of literally about 30 tabs from today. All right, we're ready to roll, baby. Let me open the agency therapy stream board real quick. We'll do a little screen share. We'll do some Q&A. It'll be a great day. All right, ready to rock. Rock and roll. Sweet. If you guys haven't been to agency therapy before, you got to check out the stream board. Okay, there's a lot of cool past streams on here that you guys can come back in. You could watch streams if you're wondering like, hey, how should I price my agency services? We got a full training on that, and I laid it all out here for you inside of a nice little mural board. Okay, so if you guys haven't gotten access to that, I'll drop it in the chat real quick. That way, you guys can have access at any point in time. So feel free, go back, watch some old streams. It's all good information. Let me drop it in chat for you. If you're in chat, if you're hanging today, come say what's up. Let me know that you're here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys joining in today. I know it's probably been a long work day. You got a lot going on, so I appreciate the little bit of time that you guys spend here with me. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the Q&A today. I think I've got like 6, 7 questions that we can kind of go off of here. And then if you guys have more questions, we can drop those in chat. And yeah, we can go a little bit deeper on your specific questions if you didn't get a chance to ask on Instagram. All right, let's take a peek here. I don't even know how to get to my questions on Instagram. Hold on. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. First question on the dial. What kind of volume of outreach should I be doing before changing my strategy? Okay, let me post that real quick. So, what kind of volume of outreach should I do before I change my strategy? Cool. So I'll pop that up there. That way you guys can see the question that we're kind of working on. So whenever it comes to like cold outreach, and here's the thing is like I wouldn't necessarily call myself an expert on cold outreach quite yet. We do quite a bit of it currently. But here's kind of like the rule of thumb, and I'll put it on the sticky note here. That way we can work through it together. So cold outreach rule rules. Cold outreach rules. Okay, so the first cold outreach rule is going to be ooh, ooh. Okay, there we go. Can I not type in this? I thought I could type in these. Why is that not working? Hold on. Oh, I think it's being laggy. All right. Dang, she's struggling. I don't know why it's struggling so bad. I want to just type in this. Nah. All right. I don't know if that's gonna work today, guys. I might just pull up another thing then. Okay, it's working inside of this, so maybe I'll just do this a couple times. Okay. All right. So, cold rules. One is going to be ramping to 100 outbounds per day. Okay, so that's going to be the first rule of cold. Okay, got to ramp to 100 outbounds per day. If you're not ramped up to 100 outbounds per day, chances are you're not going to send enough out to get the data back that you actually need. So, first rule of outbound: hey, you got to send at least 100 outbounds per day for it to be extremely effective. Okay, if if you're still not getting the traction that you want on outbound, then you need to change your scripts. Okay. So adjust scripts. Okay. And when it comes down to adjusting scripts, like things that you're going to want to look at adjusting, probably your hooks. Okay. So like pretty much like your first line. Okay. That's going to be really important. So change out your first line, maybe change out your CTAs, your value proposition. Okay, those are all things that we'll probably be looking to change to adjust our scripts. Okay, now whenever we adjust our scripts or whenever we try scripts, a couple things that you might want to try is being a little bit more direct with your ask. Okay, so direct ask. Okay, what do I mean by direct ask exactly? Well, don't in my opinion, I don't think cold is about like writing really in-depth good like personal first lines. I don't think it's about tailoring it exactly to the person that you're outreaching to, right? At the end of the day, remember that cold outreach people are either buying or they're not buying. And I think I've explained this into another cold outbound video before, but remember, people are either buying or they're not buying. And if they're not buying, doesn't matter how customized your response actually is to them, they're still not going to buy. Okay. So our goal is to hit volume, have a direct ask, and hopefully get in front of the right audience at the right time in order to generate a lead for ourselves. Okay. That's what outbound is. That's why ramping up to 100 outbounds per day is so important, is because we just have to get in front of enough people. And then eventually we get someone that will book a call with us. Okay. So ramp up to 100 outbounds per day, adjust your scripts if needed, your first line, your CTA, make sure it's a direct ask. Okay. And on the direct ask, I would highly recommend um, just having your booking link right inside of the first message that you send. Okay. And if you guys aren't familiar with the outbound training that I put together, you guys can check it out here. This is specifically on LinkedIn, but these scripts here, I think they're down at the bottom of the training. Yeah, they're right here. Um, right here. This script right here actually works really well. We still utilize the script. We've been utilizing the script for almost 6 months now on our cold outbound efforts, and it really works out well. So it's like the first person's name. I know this is random, but you seem like the right person to reach out to this. I'm looking to chat with a few more agency owners looking to scale up in 2023. My name is Josh. I'll give a little bit of my background, what I've done. If you'd be open to it, love to find 10 to 15 minutes to learn more about your agency, see if we could be a potential fit to help you scale and give you a few ideas. And then from there, we just give them the link. This link has changed, by the way. It's a little bit prettier than the type form link here, but it's more of a call booking link. And then this is an important line to stack at the end. Worst case scenario, I'll share a few things that have been working really well for other agencies with a similar model to yours, and then just like a quick sign off there. So this script works really well. You'll notice that there's not a lot of fluff here. We use the person's first name. Okay, we can make that automatic. And then I know this is random, but you seem like the right person to reach out for this. Okay, we're directly asking, are you looking to scale up? If so, hey, we've done this before. We've built a lot of agencies. We've scaled. We've sold agencies, and that's our background. If you're interested in that, book a call with us. So once again, we're looking just to get in front of people at the right time, at the right place. Okay. So volume is going to be really important for outbound. Okay. So scale that up and then give it, I would say, a solid 3 months before you change the strategy. Okay. So that'll be the last piece here. Give it a good 3 months. 3 months of consistency. That is the key there. Okay. 3 months of consistency. If you haven't done 3 months of this consistently, then you don't need to change anything, right? You just need to do it more consistently. So that means that you're going to send 3,000 messages over the month's time, and you're going to do that for 3 months. Okay. So you're going to send 9,000 messages in total. If you send out 9,000 outbounds and you didn't get a single reply or positive response or call booked, then we look at changing the strategy. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful of like, hey, what kind of volume do we need to reach? Probably 9,000 messages, in my opinion, before you really start to change the messaging. I think that's right. Yeah. 100 outbounds a day for 90 days. Okay. Um, Maybe a little bit sooner if needed, but you should see with those scripts, you should start to get some calls booked. Okay. But consistency is key. All right. That's the first question. Let's go ahead and move to our second question here. Let's take a peek. All right. Our second question, I'll type it in chat and bring it up here. How do you find talent to hire, and what's your interview process? This one's probably going to be a little bit shorter on an explanation standpoint, but how do you find talent to hire, and what's your interview process? Um, it's funny. I didn't even create a lot of our hiring modules inside of our program. My partner Nicholas did, but I can kind of give you a gist. So a couple different ways. So hiring, you can do outbound and you can do inbound. Okay. So let's talk specifically on outbound first. Of one of my favorite strategies, if you're looking for really like a player talent, is sending outbounds to people that are already hired and already employed. Okay. Oops. Spelled that wrong. Okay. People that are already employed. Now, one of the strategy where this actually works really well is you kind of fish and you send outbounds to people that are the position that you're looking for. So, say you're looking for a creative director. We could filter all the creative directors inside of LinkedIn, anyone that has that title, and we can send them in mails and we can send them messages directly to their inbox. So, essentially what this strategy would look like is we probe specifically around the position. We do not ask them if they're looking for the position. We say, hey, I know this is random, but you seem like the right person to reach out for this. So very similar first line to our other one. Our business, X, Y, and Z Media, is looking to hire a new creative director. We know that you're in this circle. If you know of anyone searching for a job, here's the application link. We would love to interview them. Okay. Now, what that's going to do is one, we're going to send it out to a bunch of people, and mails are relatively cheap. But we're going to send that out to a bunch of people. And although it's not a direct ask, you might find a creative director that's a little burnt out, doesn't like the company that they're working for, the culture isn't the right fit. And so you can find a lot of people by just sending an outbound message like that and being able to find someone at the right time, at the right place. Okay. Because that's what outbounds are. It's all about right time in the right place. And they're like, hey, yeah, I actually hate my job here. I'm going to go look and see what these guys got. Okay. So that's a really good outbound strategy, is just a broad ask of like, hey, do you know anyone in the industry that might be searching for a creative director role? I noticed that you're a creative director yourself, but just wanted to see if you knew anyone searching. Okay. That's going to open it up for them to be like, yeah, like I'm actually looking. Okay. So that's a really good way to do outbound. On the inbound side, job postings, Upwork, right? Um, Really good place to find talent. It can be a little hit or miss from time to time. That's why I do like this outbound strategy. Is like normally your employed people are the best employees, right? Like they have a job, right? So chances are they're doing something right. So this is a really good strategy if you're looking for like really high tier people. But if you're hiring a little bit more on potential, say you're a little bit smaller agency, like Upwork is a really good place to find talent. The other place, and this is one that is often overlooked, is open job postings on your website. Okay. Okay. That's really important. So if you guys have a website, I would constantly just have job openings on your website especially if you're a growing business. Someone that does a really good job of this. I don't know if this switches screens. Hold on, let me switch screens real quick. Someone that does a really good job of this. I'm just going to share my entire screen. Is actually Hermosi in acquisition.com. So if we go over to acquisition.com, you're going to notice that they have a job board on here. It's so funny that they're I love that the first thing that comes up is literally just a form. And it's like, do you want to scale your business? We're looking to invest in great businesses. But let's take a look at careers. Okay. Boom. Okay. This is such a a good idea of like, hey, this is what we're hiring for. So they're looking for a business consultant, sales director, and YouTube video editor, and then you could apply directly on their website. So this is something that I would just have up and running on your website if you don't already, is a place to apply 4 positions. Okay. We're actually looking at adding this to our website right now. And this is so great, man. Like they have an application over on the right hand side. They have the the role, the responsibilities, the requirements, all that good stuff, all on the left hand side. So this is, in my opinion, a really great way to just have a constant flow of inbound. And if you know you're going to hire a certain position a decent amount of times, this is a really good place to do it because as you grow as a business, people will be more interested in you. People want to join in on what you're building, right? And so acquisition.com does a good job of this. So if you don't have careers, like a career tab on your website, would recommend it because it's really good for inbound. Okay. And then, you could do Upwork as well, make job postings there, pay a little money, a little pay to play, right? But I always find that our outbound works the best as far as like getting solid talent because it's people that are already employed and people that are holding jobs, right? And essentially what we're looking for is people that are looking to switch it up, make a switch into maybe a stronger culture, into a different niche, right? Something along those lines. So check that out. We like the career page over here at acquisition.com too. Okay, this is really good for more inbound flow. Okay. All right. I think I answered that question. The second question off of this was, what does your interview process look like? That's funny. Like, it's funny because we don't really have like a Hydra interview process right now. It's relatively simple on our end. We're just not doing a ton of hiring currently. We probably won't do a ton of hiring. But interview process from my standpoint, relatively simple. Normally, you're gonna vet through some sort of form or application, right? So that's the importance of having the application. You guys saw it here on acquisition.com. Let me go back for a quick second. So having the application first is really important, and I always like to do forms, and I'll show you why, and see if we can't vet some people out here. Okay, so first name, last name, phone number, email, resume, social profile, years of experience. Okay. So chances are, if you select 0 to 1 years of experience, you get vetted out immediately. Uh, Provide a link to portfolio of your work consisting of 3 long form, 2 short form pieces for each link. Okay. Um, if you don't provide that, chances are you get vetted out. Okay. Um, I don't know what this is. Okay. Self identity. This must be something new that you must do. All right. But let's look at some other job postings real quick and see if there's other like vetting criteria in here. Uh. Okay, so like yeah, like chances are if you're like 0 to 2 years here, you're gonna get vetted out. Uh, but I don't see too much as far as like vetting criteria. So like if I were to give feedback to acquisition.com or the Hermosis, I would probably just have some more vetting criteria in here. I'm a big fan of also putting okay, in a sentence or two, please explain what B2C products or services your sales team have sold. You can also, if they write 3 sentences in here, you can actually have, like, a contingency of, like, if they write too much, um, like, they don't follow instructions, and they get vetted out as well. So, that's a really easy way to, like, vet a lot of people out because you don't wanna take a bunch of interviews. Now, acquisition.com has probably an entire HR department that vets people, so they have that, but if you have limited time, if you don't have a ton of time to vet people, like, make your application kind of difficult to get through. Like make sure people are actually following instructions and then they get automatically vetted out if they can't follow simple instructions. Okay. And then as far as interview process, normally it's going to be two interviews for the most part. First interview, just going to be kind of vetting for the talent itself, experience, having them take probably like a disc assessment or predictive index, something along those lines. And then second interview is kind of going through some of that, and then just aligning on culture fit, and making sure that the second conversation goes well as well. So um, that's pretty much it. Like as far as like hiring structure goes, I feel like it's a lot of like gut feeling. You don't actually know until they're in, right? And so I would recommend anyone that you hire, it's like, hey, put them on like 90-day probationary period of like, hey, we're gonna test this out for 90 days. If it goes really great, sweet, we'll extend you a full-time offer. If it doesn't go great within the first 90 days, then we're probably just going to search for other options, right? So, and normally probably within the first 30 days if that person's gonna work out or not. Peter, hopefully that's helpful, man. That one was for you, brother. All right, let's do another question. Where do I start with organic content? Okay. Um, Good question. There's a very wide net that you can cast when it comes to organic content. It depends. Okay. It depends what you like. So really organic content nowadays kind of splits into two main two main fields, which is written and video. Those are like the two main pieces of content that you can actually do. So in my opinion, I think written is probably the easiest route to get started is doing written content. Okay. Um, when it comes to written content, you can start with Twitter slash LinkedIn. You could also do Facebook written as well. So if you're gonna do written, like that's probably the place to get started. I know a lot of people that just do content on Twitter, and they absolutely crush it. So written works really well. You just have to have multiple styles of written when it comes to doing organic content. So we're big fans of doing like one short form content written, long form like threads with written content. And then third is like two steps of like, hey, offer a free resource of something that you've built, right? So like we do like the ClickUp template pack, we do the agency impact planner. We have all these resources that we give out for free to get some sort of opt-in and to build engagement with our audience. Sometimes we just give it out for free without the opt-in, but it is an option for you to start on like the written side and actually get really good traction. So if you like to write, I would start there. But if you're more of like a video person, you like to be active on video and create short form content, long form content, right? There's so many different avenues that you can go on, like where to start on content. So you could do a live stream, okay? You could do a podcast, okay? I would normally start with something that's a little bit more long form, like a podcast or a live, because what's great about this is you can break it down. This is why I started with lives first, and why we do agency therapy every week is that we can break this content down into micro content. So you have your macro, and this is like just Gary V model, right? It's like you start with the macro content, and then you build your micro content based off of that. Okay. And the micro content is normally where you get a little bit more traction, but you bring them back around to the macro content eventually, right? So that's what I would do if I was doing video. I would start with some sort of long form content and then circle it back into micro content, chop it up into more segments of like the more punchy things that you talk about inside of whatever long form content you create. Bring that into short form content, and then it's a volume game from there. Okay. Um, Peter said, how I started was using Answer the Public to get questions that people are asking about my topic. Yeah, 100%. You could do Q&A. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing today, right? It's like we're doing an AMA. I mean, and we're talking about like 5, 6 different subjects. We could probably create 5, 6 different reels from just this alone. So it does allow you to get more micro content. But as you continue to scale this up, we take a lot of our written content. So say I write like a pretty long thread on Twitter and it gets really good engagement. Chances are I'll take that highly engaged written content and I'll bring it into an agency therapy live, maybe a YouTube video, right? Something that's going to be a little bit longer as far as a little bit longer content length wise. And then you can chop that up as well. So you can verify through written of what's going to work in your longer form pieces. Okay. So a lot of options there. I mean, the biggest thing is going to be consistency here. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this, right? Consistency is key. It really is. Like to be completely honest, it's like not a lot of people watch our content even sometimes, which is totally fine. It's like, hey, if a couple people like Peter keeps showing up, it's like, sweet, let's go. Like someone's getting value from it. And you got to play the long game, right? Like I'll play this game for another 5 years if I need to, right? But people keep showing up, and as long as people keep showing up, I'm gonna keep doing. Okay, so got to stay consistent even in the face of like low amount of engagement, low amount of impressions, no deals coming through. We've been doing YouTube for a year and almost a year and a half now. And not super consistently. Like I would say that we are just now hitting a stride of very consistent posting on YouTube. Um, it's it's finally starting to work. And check this out. We actually just landed one of our first deals from YouTube, right? Someone came through YouTube and we landed one of our first deals. And let me tell you, it was relatively the easiest close that I've ever had in my life. Why? Because the trust was already built there. He's been watching content from us, and it made it easy, right? Juan asked, "Do we save these videos?" Juan, we do save these videos, man. Come over to YouTube with us. Okay, it goes live on LinkedIn, so you can like scroll back through. But all of these videos are also on our YouTube channel. You can check them out in the live section, and then they should be under an agency therapy playlist as well. So, and there's a lot of videos, man. So, if you're building an agency, or even if you're just building a business in general, a lot of this stuff would be applicable for like service-based businesses. So check it out. There's a lot here going on. A lot of free information. So, oops, a lot of free information. And I also do a daily podcast as well. You can catch that on YouTube. You can catch it on Spotify, Apple. I think it's on Amazon too. So there's a lot going on there. So, but consistency gonna be key there. Yeah, Juan, no problem, man. Um, Peter, also, I'm just making content that I have fun making on Reels, just having a good time offering some ideas to brands. Absolutely, man. Like, you got to have some fun with it. Like, I really enjoy the agency therapy lives, even though it's not like the most viewed thing that we do. I just enjoy jamming, right? I love having a live audience and actually speaking to people that are here with me. Like, I think that's really cool. I think that's really fun. So, you got to do things that actually fill up your cup and you enjoy doing. Otherwise, you'll probably get burnt out on it. Over the long term. So, and I just enjoy making content in general. So, I always have. Okay, so that's the content side. Where do I start with organic content? Adam, you asked a question. What are the advantages of process based mapping? Ooh, asking the tough ones today. I like it. Process based mapping. Do I have a process based map in here? I don't know if I do. Mm-mm-mm. I don't. I thought I had one in here. Sorry, I'm trying to find it real fast, Adam. That way I have like a visual example. Have I not done a systems build in agency therapy? Onboarding clients. Huh. Maybe I have to do one. Okay. Let's go over here then. Let's go somewhere else. I don't even know if I have a process based map in here. Hold on. I gotta find one. I gotta find one, Adam. I guess I could go into our sales lane, right? All right. So what Adam is talking about here. Adam said next week topic on systems. All right, we can do that. I'm down. I've done it before. I just haven't done it recently. And I can unpack a lot more this time around. Okay, so a couple things to unpack here. Okay, so process versus system. What's the difference here? Okay, so system um is essentially like an entire function of a business. So we think like sales. Like sales is a system, right, within our business. Okay. Now there's multiple processes that can be put inside of a system, right? So you might have a discovery process. You might have a proposal process. You might have an onboarding process. Okay. Those are things that would fit inside of a sales system. Okay. But a high level sales process for us looks something like this, where it's like, and I've showed this before a few times, but we have a start and a stop to it, right? And we lay out a high level process of like, hey, everything that happens inside of our sales process, here's what happens. Now, we have very specific processes, right? Like a nurture sequence that might have to happen in here, right? That's very specific. Text and email confirmations, those are a different process, and uh, we have to build actual systems around that, right? And really, it's processes. It's not really systems. Okay. Um, But it's like this is what a more in-depth look would be on something that's a little bit more in-depth, right? So like these are workflow reminders specifically for when someone books an agency audit session with us. And so that's just like one part of this entire process. Okay. Now we have to build this out for every single thing. And if it's in blue, it's a human touch, right? So it needs an SOP. So anything that needs has a human touch to it of like, it's done by somebody on your team. So, like, say it's like a sales rep or an SDR, right? That's taking the discovery call. Then it needs to be done a specific way. So it needs an SOP tied to it. So it's like all of our blue squares all need SOPs. Okay. Anything in purple is automated for us. And like we just lay out the entire process map before we design the internals of it, right? And the purpose of this is so you can see from a macro view or like a 30,000-foot view all of the nuances and all of the things that actually move within the process before you jump in and actually design it. Because what happens a lot of times is you'll be like, "Oh, like we need a new discovery," but you don't know how the discovery process specifically fits into the entire map. You got to make sure that the map exists before you actually design the process. Otherwise, you could be having missing links, or there might be pieces that you don't build out in the right order, and then you're gonna have to like map backwards in order to fix things either before or after something inside of that process. So, really long winded way of saying it's good to map out a 30,000-foot view of what you're trying to build, the process that you're trying to build. So, you can see, okay, here's what I need to design first. And normally from there, we can say, okay, we can go in order of this process and how it works and just make sure that we're building. It's kind of like Legos, right? It's like you probably wouldn't build Legos in a sense of like, you start like in the middle of the instruction manual. Okay. You want to start at the beginning. Okay. Because chances are you're going to need pieces in a certain order, right? Man, these Twitch people gotta go. All right. Um, Peter said, what did you say, Peter? Is this process map for free? Um, the sales map? I can send it to you. I'll send you here. Let me grab a screenshot. Can I send screenshots inside? I don't think I can send them inside of this, but here, let me do this real quick. We'll copy this and we'll bring it to another Miro board, and you can have it free 99. Which one do I want to put in here? I'll put it in the agency therapy stream board. I'm gonna put it over here to the side for you. Sorry, it's loading. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, man. Miro is definitely the tool to use if you're gonna build these processes. Okay, I'll make it a little bit bigger. That way you can see it. Boom. Is it all connected? Okay, hold on. Let me make the little lines bigger. If you guys didn't know, if you want to like change everything at once, like the lines, for example, you just highlight the whole thing and then you just can make it bigger. Boom. I don't know why it copied over really weird, but you gotta get the gist. So Peter, that is in the Miro board for you. Feel free to grab that here. I'll copy the link again. That way you guys have access to it. Boom. All right, there you go. It's there for you. Okay, let's do some rapid fire here. We're at 7:40 already. I feel like I feel like I've been answering questions forever. We've only answered 3. All right, top 3 books for a new agency owner. Hmm. Um, Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. Sometimes I gotta look at my books to know which ones. Um, and let's just go Hermosi, $100 million offers. I think those are relatively simple. So recap there. Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, $100 million offers, Alex Hermosi. That's a really good launching platform because you're going to get a couple different things. One, you're going to get the right offer in place through Hermosi. When you start landing clients, you start collecting revenue, you're going to know what to do with your money and when with Profit First. And then Scaling Up, going to give you the foundational information to run a strong operation. So that's that's what I would say as far as where to start when it comes to um, uh, uh, the books that you should be reading. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful. Whoever asked that question. Okay. A couple more here. Couple more. And if you guys have questions in chat, feel free to drop them in as well. Nicholas Reed, what to look for when looking to get acquired and where to look? That's such a broad question. Okay. So what to look for what to look for when looking to get acquired. You worded this so weird, Reed, but I love you anyway. Okay, so what do we look for when actually getting acquired? Man, there's so many things, man. There's so many nuances to this question. Um, I can give you a few. I can give you a few off the top of my head. Okay. Um, One thing is going to be future cash flows, contract lengths, right? People take a look at those, especially in the agency space. Taylor Welch actually just wrote a book on this. Well, not this specifically, but he mentioned that people buy future cash flows at a discount, which is true. But you need to be able to prove out a couple different things. One, what your future cash flows are actually going to be over your contract length. So you have to really pay attention to your contract lengths with your clients. The more extended those are, so say you have 6 12-month agreements in place, the higher your acquisition will actually be. So now, once again, it is at a discounted rate, but if you can say like, hey, we have a 98% collections rate on our billables, then chances are that those future cash flows are a little bit more guaranteed. Okay. They also look at things like, hey, like what do internal systems look like? Are there any dependencies on specific roles within the business? Right. So that's something that they're going to be looking at. So if you're the solo driver of lead generation for the business, say like you do a ton of organic content and like you're the crutch to bringing leads in, right? You're going to be kind of marked down on that. You're not going to get as high of a multiple. That's why we have a lot of different lead generation streams that we teach inside of our programs, is because if we do want to get acquired one day, we need to bring in leads from a lot of different areas, right? It's just like diversifying like a financial portfolio. We diversify our lead gen channels. Okay. So you should be looking at as well. Um, Profit margins, going to be really important. Do you have debt inside of the business? Also going to be important. You don't want debt if you want to get acquired. Um, Assets to the business. Um, that's off the top of the head, man. I mean, there's a lot more. I could give you an entire laundry list. But if you guys want to learn more about like exiting businesses, Exitpreneur is a really solid one. So would highly recommend Exitpreneur. It's by Joe Valley, I believe. So by Joe Valley, Exitpreneur. What he kind of mentions inside of that book is, what is it called? I'm completely blanking. Check it out. It's a good book. But if you want to like learn what it actually takes to exit a business, I would start there. And then where to look, man. I don't know of like a place of like, hey, like I want to get acquired. Like gonna go to this website. I'm sure there's ones out there of like getting your business acquired. But I've got people in our circle, Read, like if you're actually looking, I've got people in our circle that can hook us up and are looking to buy agencies actively. But Yeah. So other agencies buy other agencies, so you can go through an acquisition that way. Um, you can, brands buy agencies as well. Venture capitalist firms, like our agency was bought by a VC, private equity. Yeah, there's a lot of people that buy agencies. So that's a tough question. Sorry, Reed. That was a little bit scattered. It's like end of day brain. You asked a very in depth question. But on the acquisition side, like that's a few things. But check out Exitpreneur. Super solid as far as like resources go. Um, all right. I think that's all of our questions. Any more in the chat? Let me take a peek here. I don't know why do we have 14 people watching us today. That's absurd. Um, if you're new here, drop something in the chat. I want to know that you're here. What's going on? Where did you come from? How you doing? What brought you here? What do you want to learn? Just doing Q&A today. Pretty general stuff. Happy to answer any other questions that you guys have. Peter, you got anything else? Adam, Juan, happy to answer some more questions if you have them. If not, no worries. We're kind of at the end of the stream here. Who's sitting? Tyler, you across from me? How many people say that are in the stream right now? YouTube currently 3. Okay. I don't know where they're coming from then. It must be coming from like Twitch or something. There's some weird people dropping stuff. Dropping stuff in the chat from Twitch. So there might be some bots in the chat. Peter said, "I'm here because you're the best." Hey man, you're the best, and I appreciate you coming every week. Good stuff, guys. Well, solid Q&A session today. If you guys do have more questions, feel free to drop them in my DMs. More than happy to answer more questions from you guys in the future. Next week, it seems like systems, it's something that I cover so much, but I'm happy to do it again. I'm happy to go a little bit deeper on structuring systems for your agency. So let's do that next week. That sounds fun. I'll try to make it not boring for you. But if you want to look on how to structure systems, I'll put together a little training for next week. Go a little bit more in depth on it. I've done it in the past, but we'll do something a little bit more in depth, a little bit more fun. I've got some new methodologies I've been applying to our own business, so I feel like it's good to share with you guys as well. Cool. That's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for subscribing, liking. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Much love, guys. We'll see you around on the next Agency Therapy. We do this every single week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. Peace.